for some reason or another, I think we were just talking about health and getting older, and he brought up LeBron James. And that this man is however old he is, and he's been playing in the league for 19 years. The whole time at the highest level in the National Basketball Association. You ever feel like we could be living differently? A ladder or something you climb up. The ladder. Do you say blue? Welcome to the Any Last Words pod. My name is Earl Lonnie Hooks. A very special thanks to everybody that will be joining us today. This is exactly what you were talking about with your brother. On SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, as well as YouTube. And please do not forget to follow us at ALW Pod on Instagram. The God in me honors the God in each and every one of you today. How you feeling, Sel?
I feel good.
Okay, so you are fear arises, but you walk in faith. Let's talk about this. You came in here.
Don't try to get that quote in the wrong way.
That's exact. These are the exact words that you just said to me, and because you are concerned about things in life as you ought to be.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, but I walk in faith.
But you walk in faith,
although fear may arise. But I know that I lead with a mind of faith as I take my steps forward.
You be giving off wild Erykah Badu vibes.
Don't say that because I know she's a little problematic. So let's say the non-problematic Erykah Badu vibes.
Okay. You were concerned about coming here on the podcast. We're just going to get this out the way real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Because I am what?
And you just don't. It's like when you're playing Uno and you see the draw for a wild card. Like, you just don't know, what is coming. There's no itinerary. There's no, preface. There's no preface of what's happening.
Right.
You're just in it. It's random. It's being thrown at you. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if, you have, pre-thought what's happening and going through things.
Not much.
It's okay, good for you. You do a good job of that.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just nervous because I don't know what's going to be thrown off of me.
Well, but when you're I don't know what sort of conversations you have with people on a daily basis, but how often do you find yourself planning the conversations that you're about to have with people? It could be more than I think. I don't know.
So I'm never planning the conversations that I have with people, but the deeper conversations I have with people are usually with, within my close friend group to some degree. So I kind of have an idea of where it may go. I feel like on this specific platform, you are kind of digging for a deeper understanding of things where I'm I don't know if I don't know where this is going to go and what next question he's going to ask me and how much time do I have to think and respond.
Okay. So all right. So a lot of the concern comes from being put on the spot with something that could be profoundly deep. And
it's hold on, wait, I need
time to
because that's
to be thorough about thorough questions,
to be thorough and have a good response and be able to cover everything that I would want to in that response.
That's the thing about conversation, right? Is you don't get time to go do brainstorm and write up a draft and an outline and all that sort of stuff.
But the thing is, when it's being recorded, you kind of have something in your head, where you want it to be a bit more dang, I wish this was a free response question. Can I have this as a take home? And then I come back in. I listened to the last one. And I was wow, this is really great. But my takeaway was girl, you need to talk a little less.
Oh, really? You felt that?
I always feel that. There was one semester in grad school that I told one of my classmates, I was my goal this semester is to speak less. I really want to be able to kind of listen more. Speak less, listen more this semester.
Oh, okay. Is the speaking less so that you can listen more, or you just feel the words that are coming out are they're just bad representations of what's going on in your head?
I don't think it's bad representations of what's going on in my head, but I was saying with the different types of questions that you ask sometimes, I feel I'm not adequately prepared to respond in a way that when I hear it back, I'm dang, I would have said that extra thing. I would have probably referenced that. That was the wrong reference, girl. You could have added a little here and there, but I critique, that's just something that I do. Just critiquing and being okay, I could have been more complete in that answer.
Well, I'll tell you what, so far, like right now, you're exhibiting quite the adequacy.
Wow, thank you.
I think that you're doing well.
We haven't even. We just on the surface.
But you're right. And since we are talking about, or you referenced the last one that you were on, 85, Looking Like We Didn't Belong is the episode title. If you'd like to go back and if you didn't listen to
that was the title?
Yeah, Looking Like We Didn't Belong. Oh. It was that came from me talking about getting beat up. Right. So, one, we're wearing headphones right now.
Right. Totally different experience.
Definitely different experience, right?
Yeah.
Studio sort of feel.
Right.
You feel like you have entered the pod, I like to call it. Mm-hmm. And I think that one that we just talked about it being noise cancellation headphones. Canceling just distractions, huge bit. In the fact that when I'm speaking, I'm in your ear right now.
100%.
Like you hear me like the people hear when it's recorded and when it's published.
Right.
So you came the last time, and I would like to take responsibility for what I think happened. Now, you felt like you talked too much. I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like when you spoke, they were not wasted words.
Thank you.
I felt like you spoke with intention, and you just didn't speak when you felt like words didn't need to be placed there from you.
Okay, thank you.
I felt like you did a good job of listening and then contributing when you felt like you needed to.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. Now, I didn't do a good enough job, I feel like, as a moderator.
You think so?
Now, something that the headphones do is if you start speaking right now and I start speaking right now, you're going to hear
there's clashing of the vocals.
Just how clashing that is.
Right.
And we're both probably immediately going to yield power.
Right.
Like we're both going to stop and wait for them and see what social cues we can read to see who's going to go first.
That's a good
point.
Point.
I was the one with the headphones on. You both did not have them on. And I did a bad job at trying to control or facilitate the floor.
But you're the only one with the mic.
yeah, there was a lot, or the only one with the headphones. Yeah. But yes, there turned out to be quite a lot of overlap of frequencies and stuff like that.
Are these the same headphones that you had on the last time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are the same headphones.
That's completely
I just bought another pair.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to have you back so that we could have a one-on-one.
Right.
And so we can just go ahead and mitigate all of that overlap.
Right.
Because now it's just us. We're just talking.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's easier to do a one-on-one in that instance, like from that experience versus like, I mean, you've had two guests at the same time and
right.
But with both
with Keon, so all four of us in here. And Keon and I had headphones on. Right. So pretty much if there's just like a shortage of headphones or headphone jacks, whatever case, and everybody can't have one, which I'm going to fix and I'm going to be able to have one for everybody that comes on if it's like 4 people.
Right.
That's why I take responsibility, because it is my job to understand when these things are happening. It was just, I brought you two on for the energy, and then the energy was there, and I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I thought I knew what to do with this. So then it was like,
they said they don't know how to handle it. They can't take us. We unstoppable. That's what I heard.
I said that at the very beginning, though.
You love to see it.
I believe I said the power of these two is undeniable. I think unstoppable. I believe I said something.
Yeah, you
at least to the effect of that.
I'm sure you did.
And then I couldn't stop you. I was like, oh, well, there we go.
Unleashed. You didn't know what to do with it.
So now we're here. We're going to do one-on-one. Okay. I think we should just start with. You just came back from vacation.
I did.
So let's just start. Let's from who? Cancun.
That's the only way I say it.
Is that what it was? Okay.
I refuse to say it any other way.
Okay.
Cancun.
Okay. Who told you to say it like that?
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you.
That is how you pronounce the vowels, though. Now, I saw the post and I saw it was called like Playa del Carmen.
Oh, okay. Come on, accent.
Yeah.
Come on. Ours.
But at least you have the talent, though. I hear that either you just kind of have it or you don't.
It doesn't get implemented occasionally,
Have you? I mean, do you know any Spanish words?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so what would be one where you can...
Estás? Me llamo Sylvia.
I was going to say, it felt like you just threw it all out there. Like, that was, like, you threw all the cards on the table, like, because you was mad confident, and you're like, this is where it ends, though. No, what else you got? That's good.
Me gusta la comida china. Okay, so I feel like I speak broken Spanish, you know what I mean?
Like, well, that would make sense.
Yeah, like I took Spanish like several years and like maybe like 2 years in high school, then I took like 2 years in college. But I just feel like I was just, trying to get through it. So
yes.
And that, I can't even tell you how many years ago that was, and I haven't spoke since then. So
you didn't really enjoy the process?
I mean, it was cool for what it was,
learning another, I don't know, I guess compartment or set of symbols that allow you to speak to millions of more people.
But the thing is, when you're in a classroom and learning Spanish and like actually being amongst Spanish speaking people, like it's a different type of situation. You know what I mean? So like I could only learn, I learned like the basics within the classroom, but like our teachers would always tell us like, hey, if you see people who speak Spanish, like go and speak to them. Cause like obviously practice makes perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't doing that for real.
Yeah,
and after I stopped taking it, I wasn't actually utilizing those skills and words that I learned either. It was just kind of like, like if you just took algebra and it's like, I took algebra. But sometimes you do use algebra. But also it's like, I took chemistry. Don't nobody really use chemistry. I took chemistry. No.
Yeah, in your workplaces, there weren't too many like Spanish speaking people, or maybe people that only spoke Spanish. That that was never a thing.
So it's just like I took chemistry. So
yeah, so that's
it's literally like the equivalent. It's like I can see the table.
The table of elements.
There we go, and I could be like put a couple
periodic table.
Yes, and that's the same energy, but.
Me gusta comida china. Entendido. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. I mean, what was going on down there? Why'd you choose this place? Like, what was it like? What did you do aside from flick it up? I saw the flicks. Great flicks. Amazing flicks.
You.
But tell me about the trip.
More to come. Just kidding.
No, you do though.
I'm not kidding.
How often do you take a trip and then you just wait to release photos for like months to come? Like, are you like?
So let me say that's not necessarily the intention, but because of how many great videos I got and like how many great pictures I got.
Yes.
Y'all finna get these pics. You know what I'm saying? So the pics are gonna be coming. Actually, until today, I guess this will let people solidify that I'm back. But I've actively been trying to post like I'm still out the country.
Yeah.
I've actively been trying to post like I'm not here.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And the snow looked nice. I was like, dang, let me get a picture of the snow. I'm like, you know what? I've seen snow before. I'm not gonna get a picture. Let me post this water at the beach.
Okay. All right,
nobody's gonna know.
So why'd you go? So who all went?
So it was me, Mikkel, and Ryan.
Right.
And my birthday was like the day before.
Shout out to Sequoia. I love you. Continue.
Okay. So my birthday was on the 29th. So it was kind of like a birthday, like New Year's combo trip.
Okay.
So yeah.
My birthday was on Monday.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. You're a Capricorn.
Wait, what's today?
Today's Thursday.
Today's Thursday. Yes, it was Monday. Yes. Oh wait, no, Tuesday. I'm sorry. Whatever the 4th was. It's Tuesday. Yes,
Tuesday. Know when your birthday was.
I'm not really that guy, but yes, Tuesday the 4th was my birthday. Okay, I didn't.
Congrats! Happy birthday.
I made it another year.
Yes, another. What do people say? Another trip around the moon, the sun. One of them planets.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Anyway, while we were out there, there was a lot of moments that I felt like my anxiety was out the roof because one, I've actually never been to. That's my second time going to another country, but usually, like I'm from South Africa, so normally, like when I go to my parents live there. You know what I mean? So like being in another country, my experience has always been like amongst family and like people that know the lay of the land and like where we're going. Like this time it was like, we just out here doing it.
Yeah.
Like, the three of us, like, we're just gonna wing it.
Wait, like your parents are still there?
No, they're here.
Oh, okay.
Like, all of my family is still there.
Oh, okay.
So it's like when we go, it's like, okay, my uncle's picking us up from the airport and he's driving us to my aunt's house or like to my grandma's house. And like, if we go here, my cousin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You
like,
have guides.
Yes, guides. So being in a totally different country that doesn't necessarily speak your language and just kind of winging it, it was very like concerning, especially because by the time we got there, it was very dark. Like, it was probably like 7. I don't know, maybe, but it was just dark at the time, and we had to walk to like our Airbnb.
Have you always lived here?
Yeah, in the U.S. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I was born here.
Yeah.
I said that wrong. My family, my roots are in South Africa.
Yes.
But I was born here.
How often do you go?
The last time that I went was 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Allegedly, we're supposed to be going next year.
And what does your family back there speak mostly, like the first language?
So my family is all over. My parents are both from Lesotho, which is actually an enclave in South Africa, one of the only enclaves in the world. If you don't know what an enclave is, it's when a country is like inside of another country. So they're from Lesotho, but I also have family that's in South Africa, and my mom's family migrated to Botswana. So my family speaks Sesotho, Setswana, and English as well.
Any words that you know? Any at all?
Dumela date, dumela me. That means hello. Like, like in Spanish, I used to have to say amiga or amigo, to say
is
like
this feminine or masculine?
Yeah. But still, it's like almost like the same as Spanish, but like a little better because like at least I have heard my parents speak it, so like I can kind of decipher different things or different words and things like that. So
yeah, and what's interesting is once you get out of English, the vowels or the letters sound the same every time.
Yeah.
Just all the time.
Yeah.
Like outside of English, every time you come across a letter, I mean, I don't know if there's another language like English where there's just like these weird, irregular, times, but there is no wind and wind, right? 2 words spelled exactly the same.
Oh, yeah. I think I was just talking about that, how like the American language, I think sometimes can be as
insanely difficult
coming in, or someone who's English is your second language. It could be very challenging to learn. English.
Yeah, because there are irregulars
like
in other language, but English just when you start to learn English again, when you start to learn another language, you start to realize how much you don't know your own language, or just like the irregular things that are happening in it. How tricky it is. And you're just like, reason. Oh yeah, like this is absolutely insane.
Shoot, it's people who only speak English and still don't get there, and there, right? Your and your.
Yeah. I actually did want to speak to you about words a little bit because I'm a lover of words. I am a lover of words.
We know.
But I don't want to take away from what it is you have going on right now, which is still the recap of your trip.
Okay, Cancun. So anyway, so we stayed in this beautiful Airbnb. It was really great. I'm happy that we chose to go the Airbnb route. So it was very nice. Our days included like just waking up, going to the beach, or like going to the pool. We also went on like a tour of like different caves they have.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think it's called Cenotas something. I don't remember the full name of it, but it was great. Like we literally got in like a van, basically. Like it was an hour away from our Airbnb. We got there. Like other people were there too. It kind of reminded me of like a water park to some degree.
Okay.
And, like you get these life vests, and then like you have a tour guide, and like they walk through and like they tell you the history about this cave, and like you can get in the water and swim through the cave, or like in some instances it was an open cave, and other instances it was like under like for real like cave.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. It was a great time.
Did you swim through the cave?
Yes, and the thing is, we didn't even know that we was gonna have to swim through the caves. Like when this was presented to us, we thought it was like, oh, here's a tour. Y'all can stand by this beautiful water, take pictures. If you want to get in here, you can.
Yeah.
But like when we got there, the way it sounded was like the only way to get. We're at point A, and we're gonna try to get to Z. The only way to get through, you have to go to these caves. I'm like, wait a minute, because I didn't know I was gonna have to get in this water.
Yeah, so were you even prepared, like dressed for that, or you just?
I mean, we had bathing suits on, but my hair set up. It was like I didn't know I was gonna have to get in the water. I'm like, okay,
my hair set up.
Yes,
you on vacation? Are you? How concerned? Go for it. No, go for it.
I'm on vacation.
Yes.
But I'm never trying to have a slip up. You know what I mean? When I talk about my hair situation, I'm not talking about like, oh, I don't want to get this curly and it's straight. I'm talking about I don't want this to fall off. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like
slip up like a real.
Yes, I'm not trying to have like a Janet Jackson moment. Like that's the type of thing I'm talking about when I'm saying my hair.
Yeah. Have this fall off.
Yes, but luckily I've packed for every situation, so I did what I had to do. Put that cute little scarf on, match my bathing suit anyway. So,
a scarf but like a real flowy, just like light sort of scarf. Yeah, like a scarf that isn't meant to keep you warm at all.
No,
like one of those.
Like cutely, a headscarf.
Yeah, like a headscarf. Mm-hmm. Yes, understood.
Very cute.
Okay, what was high points of the trip?
Oh, that's good. That's a good question. We should have that like our peak and our.
What did you feel like you walked away with, feeling sort of enriched? Like, what did you take away from Cancun?
I took away that like the world is such a beautiful place, and like just being so blessed and being so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to see the world. It's like I acknowledge and realize like some people don't even travel outside of their hometown.
Yeah.
So being able to like have the privilege and like be blessed enough to like even have a passport, to have friends that are willing to go out of the country with you, have the finances to go out of the country, to have been treated so nicely. Like I feel like everyone was so kind and so sweet and so helpful. Nice. And even though it was very clear like we didn't speak the language, but I feel like everyone was so kind and so helpful. I don't know if there was a. Did
you learn any words? Did you try to like ask for something and they were like, they just tried to give you the word for something?
I did learn that like, well, there were multiple things that I noticed, like el baño, like that was my understanding of like the bathroom. But I saw signs, and I really didn't see baño listed. It was like a different word for the bathroom. So that was interesting. But when we actually were at the caves tour, a foosball table was there. I used to play foosball when I was a kid, so like I stepped up to like play, and this little boy, like he was probably like 7 or 8, like he stepped up to play too. Yeah. And he's like, "Habla español?" And I'm like, "Sí, un pequeño." And he's like, "That's not how." Like he responded, and I don't remember the right way. He was like, "Piquito." I'm like, "Sí." And then we're playing. I hit the thing in, and I get the first point. I'm like, "Yay, goal!" And he's like, "Gola." And I'm like, "See, goal." Right. And he looks at me, he's like, "Goal out." And I'm like, "Oh, he trying to tell me I'm not saying it right." I'm like,
"You're like, goal.
Goal. What's the problem?"
It's interesting because we don't hear these small things that we do. Because what you're saying is like GOWL. Like goal.
Yeah. To him, he's like, "That's goal in English."
Right.
We speak Spanish.
Exactly. It's little behind. It's like football in football.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Like different words.
So there were just different moments like that on the trip where I was like, "Oh, okay, like these things are different." Like I remember like when we were on the beach, we were able to order food, and like I got ceviche.
You got it.
Ceviche. Yeah. And I had it here, but I made it. Like one of my friends, she's Panamanian. She's from Panama.
Panamanian, you got it. Panamanian.
I said, I was like, that sounds like Panamanian.
I love when people just take that back and just like, you know what? She's from Panama. I know that.
So like she made it for us before and like taught me how to make it. So like when I was in college, like sometimes I would make it in the summer. So I've never had it like authentically or ordered somewhere. So I did order it like on the beach and it was bomb. It tasted the same. I had a churro for the first time. I never had one before. Okay. Which is crazy because they got them right at Costco. Yeah. But I love
that you were just open that like you weren't just going to go there and just like order the cheeseburger and a hot dog. You're
no.
Yeah, like I'm down to try some
we love Mexican food. Like Mikkel literally loves Mexican food. Like she all the time. It's like I like Mexican food as well. So I was definitely like willing to be like, "Oh yeah, let me."
You said that almost in like I sense like some sort of familiarity in your face when you said that, almost as if again I was supposed to know that she liked Mexican. Like she likes Mexican. Like You know, she looks Mexican.
I said it that way just to be like, if you did know, not to like slight you of knowing. You know what I mean?
Okay, that was very considerate of you. That was a very considerate
like, I don't necessarily know if you do know or not. So it's like, she likes, so I'm like, let me stand on this.
Sylvia,
like, we do like this.
What is your last name?
Oh, yeah, you gonna stop? Yeah. I don't know if I can tell it now. I'm on a platform. Well, like,
yo, they find you. They go look at your stuff anyway.
My last name is not on my social media.
No, it don't matter, but they just gonna be all up and down and in your stuff, in your DMs.
There's not much you can do without knowing someone's last name, I'll tell you that.
The Scoop with Syl.
That's it.
And there's a dot in there somewhere.
Dot. You don't even know. If I gave you $1 to guess the letter of my last name.
M.
God, how you know
that? Dude, you know what's really funny?
You didn't know.
I don't know it, but I don't think that I do, but when you asked me, that's the letter that came to me. Like, that's what I think. In high school. In high school, yes.
Did I ever follow you on Facebook in high school?
So I don't know how long I've known you, but I clearly pulled that from somewhere.
It could have been from somewhere.
Is the next one C?
No.
Okay, so it's not Mick something. Okay.
McCormick. No.
No, I wasn't gonna go with that, but okay, so it is M. Interesting.
Yeah. It's
okay. Mpufe.
Yeah.
Okay, and I said that correctly.
Yes, I actually learned when I went to Africa, to South Africa, like in 2015, that we actually pronounced our last name wrong. The three of us, we pronounce our last name wrong, and I think my parents have allowed us to do it because you kind of make those things where it's like, oh, American people can't pronounce things the right way.
No, we can't do that.
So it was like my last name is actually pronounced like Mpufe.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not a heavy on the but it's kind of like Mpufe.
Okay, Mpufe.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to say it like that.
Yeah. I used to cringe when people would say my last name in school, like like when the substitute teacher or like just at assemblies.
We all went through some degree. Up until quite, I don't know, pretty old in my life, I feel like I say like 5th grade, maybe going into 6th grade, I couldn't say my first name. I had some sort of speech. Yeah, you're right. Like it just seems simple, correct?
Yeah. What would you say?
Something along the lines of oil. Yeah, it was something like that, like oil. I used to just get like my friend to just tell someone what my name was when they asked. Like, just tell them what my name is.
I still be telling my friends to tell people what my name is.
From like your first name?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why, but anytime we're like in functions of some sort, like this happened all the time.
Do you know how wild that looks?
I'll always be like, they'll be like, oh, hi, what's your name? I'll be like, Sylvia. And they look at me like, Cynthia? I'll be like, Sylvia. Then they'll be like, Sophia. And at that time, I'm like, yo,
okay.
Just tell them. And then they'll say it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Sylvia. I'm like, yeah, that's me. But I'm like, I have done enough to tell you what my name is. Like, I need somebody else to step in.
That is just so interesting. Like when you say that your parents were clearly just on this, you know what? They just let them be stupid. Like they don't need to be able to pronounce it. Just let them say whatever they want to.
Yeah.
My Spanish professor used to tell me all the time, you should learn how to say Spanish names. Like one, we're already going through the letters, so you should be able to pronounce all these and understand what they are. But also, you should maybe require is kind of strong, but at least strongly request that Spanish-speaking people say your name correctly.
No,
we have to learn how to say each other across the board. There are too many people I've met, and they're like, "Oh, my name is such and such," and I'm like,
"Right?
Is it?" Right. And they're like, "Oh, well, no, this is actually how you really." But I just say this because people never say my name correctly, and I'm like, "Well, tell me what your name is, because I'm going to get it."
Right. There was that one woman, I always get her name wrong. This is bad to reference the story because like the whole point of the story
is the
they're
name.
Going to know your name.
Yeah.
So it's like, and now it's even slipping away from me even further. But anyway, most of the time I just feel like Black people or people of color in general, like oftentimes we have names that I guess people categorize them as more ethnic, but it's only ethnic because that's not your norm. And so it's easy to just, slide it on the radar and like kind of mold it in a way that's more acceptable or like feasible for people who are not familiar with that dialect, but like the same regard is never given to us. And that's why she's a writer. She has a book and she has done like a TED Talk. That's why I don't remember it because I watched the TED Talk a long time ago. She's West African. She has a very, very long last name. I don't know if you've ever. I feel like this is something that you may have come across. She's just very wise with words. I think her name is like Itshebe, and like her last name is very, very long. Mm-hmm. But I think she was telling a story of how like she was telling her mom, like, they're not going to be able to pronounce my last name, so I just tell them a hyphenated version. And her mom was like, if they know how to speak these German names and they can pronounce that, they're going to learn how to speak and say this last name. You just need to tell them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, 100%.
Yeah, just break down the phonetics.
Yeah. I'm going to need to find out who that is again. Refresh my memory. Because this is like the second time I've told this story and I did not fully remember the name. But it's just because it's so long ago. I haven't seen her like, so I don't remember. Yeah,
I've met too many people like that have had to change their name. Yeah. There's a
or they're like, I had this as a hyphenated version because I know like people don't pronounce it right. Or I'm gonna like make a critique and it's like, no, don't critique your name.
Congolese homie of mine name is Gloire.
Gloire?
Gloire. Gloire. Oh. Gloire.
Oh.
He goes by Glory.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
I have matter of fact, actually, I can run down the list. His brother's name, a good friend of mine, his name is Uzima.
Uzima, yeah.
He goes by Eric.
What? Eric is just out of nowhere.
He's like, bro, I'm not, because I've been with him, like Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. Right. And yeah, I'm like, bro, why do you go by Eric? You just like, watch this. He orders his food. Uzima, what? Eric.
Yeah.
like, bro, every time. Like,
I'll even like, I remember, I don't know where I was. Well, I used to be a graduate assistant. I know I said that before. And like, I've worked like with kids in before and after care. So I've always been like, listen, if I don't say your name right, please continue to say it to me. Because I always want to make sure that like I'm addressing you the way that you want to be addressed. Right. But also I'm like honoring your name and taking the time out to pronounce it right. You know what I mean? Like that's like something so small that like anyone and everyone can do. You know what I mean? And even if I do like mistake your name, it's like, it's not intentional. Like I would say like, just be patient with me because maybe I'm not used to that pronunciation, but like I'm willing to like pronounce it right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Process.
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. The woman that came on here, Von Marie. Right? You said it immediately. People would just be like, Maria? No, Von Marie.
That's crazy. That doesn't even seem like
they just be all like Vonnie. Can we just like they just be all over the place? Right. It's like, wow, like you have such a hard time just putting these two things together. There's a guy at my job. His name is this is Varghese. Varghese.
Oh, what's his ethnicity?
He is Indian.
Oh, okay.
Varghese. His last name is Chaco. He go by Chaco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all up into. I hear it all the time.
You did a good thing with the R. I can.
Yeah. That one R sort of pronounces sort of like a soft D. Varghese. Yeah. Okay. No, you're not going. You don't want to try it out. No, that's fine.
After I just said I'm willing to try.
And also my name EAR, that doesn't make sense for Spanish speaking people.
Ear.
But yeah, well, oreja would be ear in Spanish, right? Or oído would be like the inside. So these, it doesn't add up. The EAR, like those letters would never be placed together. It just looks like
in Cancun. Oh, they knew.
All right, so you good on your trip to Cancun? Like, do you feel like you pretty much wrapped it up, or you feel like you said everything you want to say about it? I mean, by the way, you didn't necessarily want to say anything about it. I brought it up.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was a great experience. I can't wait to use my passport again.
Do you have any plans of the next place? You have any thoughts at all?
Yeah, we're supposed to be going to the Dominican Republic.
Look at you. Yeah. Passport on pivot. Just back and forth. Very nice.
Stamp it up.
Very nice. All right. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying your blessings and, you're acknowledging them.
Thank you.
And I like to think that you're justifying your blessings in a sense. I feel like when I say that, I mean that, okay, just quick philosophy. Okay. we're all dealt cards on this planet.
Right.
You can't necessarily say that it's fair that some people get this and some people
100%.
don't. Right? So when I say justifying our blessings, I mean trying your best to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can, because that's really all you can do.
Right.
But just to understand that you have blessings and just kind of throw it down the toilet, like not really do anything with the blessings that you've been given to be able to try to give anything back in any way, shape, form, or fashion is just kind of inconsiderate and a bit shallow. Yeah, I would think. And I see you as a beautiful person, so I just feel like you're doing your part. Yeah. Not to say there's not always something more to build on, but
there's so much more I could be doing.
And I'm glad that you say that. Yeah. I'd love to ask you a question. Okay. I promise I'm not trying to fuck you up on this. Like it's just a regular question. Okay. How often do you find yourself bored?
Bored.
Yes. And I'm glad you even said it like that, like bored, like interesting. Now we did this last time you were here. We're gonna do this again because this. And I told you we we're gonna talk about words a little bit because I'm a lover of them. It matters to me. I had someone come to me and tell me that they were just bored. Like they were just bored out of their mind. Right. And before I look up this word, I'll tell you why I looked up this word. I had forgotten what that feels like.
Yeah, okay, so I would second that. I can't remember the last time that I was bored.
Okay, right. Okay, so I was just having a hard time trying to put myself in those shoes and remember what it was like to just feel, just like dejected from life because it just seemed vacuous and not exciting.
I mean, I can say like when I was a grad student and like, I was doing so much. So like I needed days of like just pure relaxation. Okay. And like I get sick of like staying in one place for too long unless I feel like I need to rest. You know what I mean? So like just laying around like for days unless I'm sick or like if I strongly feel like I need to rest, I'll be over it. Like I want to get up. I want to go do something.
So when you say in one place for too long, you don't mean like you have to travel. You just mean you just don't want to be like in the house. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Understood. And I think that has to do with like my mom, like just always being like, why are y'all in your room so long? Like get up. Like let's go clean something, go watch something, go do. Okay. You know what I mean? So like
she wasn't having that.
Yeah. But that's because that's not of her. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like now we're older and like we'll tell her like, no, like some people really do just love to lay and love to sleep. And, like, that's totally fine. Like do your own thing, you know? Mm. But like, the times that I can remember being bored probably are like associated with that to some degree, or maybe it's just I can't really remember. It's been a while, I think.
Well, we're on the topic of blessings, and you would have to acknowledge in this moment that that's a blessing.
100%.
Like I was thinking about the idea of being bored, and I thought, well, what that would have to take in order for me to feel just dejected from life in that way.
But I also feel like being bored is like a layer of, I don't want to say lacking creativity, but to some degree, like not being like, I like seeing other things, the opportunity to end your boredom. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like if I'm bored, I feel like I'm be like, dang, like I got to get up and do something. Like what can I do? Like where can I go? How can I stop being bored versus like remain bored? You know?
Right. Yeah.
But obviously there are some times where I'm just like, dang, I didn't get to go anywhere. And then like, I'm upset.
So what's interesting to me is, so you're talking about having the understanding that you're bored. So it is like you have this revelation. It's like, oh fuck, I'm bored. Mm-hmm. I need to do something to end this. So now you're doing something to end the boredom. I don't even know if that thing that you're doing isn't also boring.
It could be.
Like it could be because you're just trying to do.
The boredness could just transfer to another location.
Yeah, and another thing.
Right. I could be like, okay, let me get on my laptop. I'm bored.
So that's why something as simple as the word bored, I had to look up.
Yeah, what is bored actually?
Because
have we been using bored wrong?
I just don't think that people have a full understanding of what it is and where it comes from. So you're talking about a lack of creativity. I'm kind of with you on that to a degree. And also just a lack of interest in your everyday, just daily routine life. Just a lack of just things in general do not pique your interest. You do not find interest in just the regular things that go on in your day. I can be brushing my teeth, taking a shower, washing dishes, grocery. It doesn't matter what the thing is for me. I'm not bored though, because I'm doing the thing. Now let me read this definition. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Bored. Where's why is this not coming up? Okay, here we go. To weary or tire, since you've been making fun of me for words like weary, even though I'm reading the definition.
Weary is not.
I don't even be knowing anymore. Like y'all got me self-conscious.
That's a word that it's like only a few know and have used that word. I've never used that word in conversation. Weary, that's like a lyric in a song, but fervor is like one of those words where it's like that is a very that sticks out.
What about wary? W-A-R-Y.
Okay, I think weary is the word that I know. Wary, not so much.
Okay, wary is to be cognizant of. Like I'm wary of.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. To weary by dullness, tedious repetition, and then this is the one that really got me thinking. Unwelcome attentions. So whatever it is.
What type of definition was that? Because I feel like I still don't have a takeaway of what bored is from the definition.
Okay. Well, you know what? So, you know what dullness is.
Yeah.
Right? So we're talking about to grow weary or tiresome from dullness, whatever it is that is in front of you being dull.
You're over it. Yeah.
It's just dull. It's mundane. Yeah. It's monochromatic. It's whatever. Yeah. It's lacking for you.
Yeah.
Tedious repetition. Just the repetition of things that are also just a tiresome sort of thing to participate in. And then unwelcomed attentions, meaning you are having to give attention to something that is unwelcomed by you.
So you could actually be in the middle of activity and be bored.
And just be that's what I'm saying.
If it doesn't align with what you're doing, then you're just bored.
Right. So I think that this idea of just finding life and the things around you as just dull and tedious repetitions and that you're unwelcoming whatever the attentions are around you. That's what sort of causes that's what the definition is saying is causing the boredom.
Okay, that kind of puts things in a different perspective.
Right.
Your 24/7 life could be boring.
Yes.
And that
life for you could be dull and
that
tedious.
May not even be your choice, which is unfortunate.
Which is very, very unfortunate. Wow. Which is why I feel like I don't understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that just means that you're constantly seeing life as opportunities and it's vigorous and it's alive.
Having access to that.
Exactly. It's like you're accessing a different frequency.
Yeah.
Some people just can't even turn the dial to that frequency.
It's almost like a level of privilege to some degree.
Yeah.
Because some people may not even have access to the choice of turning that dial.
Oh.
You said turning that dial. Mm-hmm. Somebody may not even have, it's not their choice. They don't have the resources to do so. Like their lifestyle doesn't allow them to do that. Like they have to continue in this cycle that they have
of just boredom and dullness.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Wow.
Yeah, so once I read that, I'm feeling the weight of it all over again. Wow. But it's like, wow, that is
not have an extended amount of boring moments. And now I'm thinking maybe the moments that I felt like were boring actually were not really boring.
Right. Yeah, it just may have been just low tier exciting for you.
Yeah. I just had enough of it. I'm over it. I did enough.
Yeah. So that word is ennui.
Okay.
ENNUI. So that is to grow weary of something of a lack of, but also an excess of. Like I'm like this has been too much. Like I'm you tired me out. Ennui.
Ennui. That sounds like a different language.
It's also French.
Okay, there we go.
That would make sense, right?
I knew it was from something. I did know. I said it was a different language.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But anyway, so yeah, I just found like, a newfound excitement and gratefulness and gratitude and love for me constantly looking around and just being, that weird phrase. Well, it's not weird. I just hate when something really good has been said and then it's taken by everyone and everyone thinks that they're living their life. So then it just becomes kind of like a slogan and I'll give you one. My 24 hours and your 24 hours ain't the same.
Oh my gosh. I just saw an interview from this Love Island cast member who turned into an influencer. And she just did an interview saying that Love Island UK or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Twitter ripped her to shreds.
Wow. What was she on?
Because I feel like a lot of people that say that are in a place of privilege. And they say my 24 hours, we all have the same 24 hours. Like, look at the clock, we all have the same 24 hours. So like, if I'm rich and doing amazing, like you can do this too. Like you have access to the same thing. You're just not doing enough. Like you're choosing, you know what I mean? Like it comes off, it's very condescending. Like it comes off in a way of like, you're choosing to be in struggle if you are in struggle. Because it's like, I work my ass off. Like clearly you're not working hard enough. Like if you don't have access, like it kind of negates the idea of like gatekeeping to wealth. Like it negates the idea of systematics, things that are set up systemically, like different, like barriers, like that put people in different financial situations that they are, like education, like opportunities, you know what I mean? Like it's just so condescending to say that. So
what I will say is that my 24 hours has not been the same as my past 24 hours that I used to live.
Right. Through. We all have 24 hours in a day. Like that's clear. Like we can all look at a clock.
We don't got to break that down.
Right. But we all don't have the same life circumstances.
Yes.
We all don't have the access to the same resources.
Yes.
We all don't have the same education level.
Yes.
We all don't even look the same. Like there are barriers put up that we have no control over. You know what I mean? Like there are gatekeepers and like there's things that sometimes are more difficult for certain people or from certain backgrounds to access. So to say that like we all have the same 24 hours, like I'm grinding, I'm doing my thing. Like what are y'all doing? It's kind of like tone deaf.
Man, that's so funny you said I've been dealing with a couple tone deaf people.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's okay. Like that's not saying that you can't be like, yo, you got to get out here and work hard and like fight against these odds. And like, there may be barriers put up in front of you, but you still got to keep working and grinding, stay prayed up, be faithful, just work hard. And what's yours is always going to be yours. That's a different narrative than just being like, we all have the same 24 hours. Like the reason I'm where I am is because I work hard.
Okay, understood. But you still do give credence, from what I understand you just said, you still do give credence to encouraging others to, in whatever way they can, try to optimize their 24 hours.
Right.
Understood. Understood.
Like there's like, of course, like you say you love words. Words have so much power. And like the way that you say it means so much. You know what I mean? Like there are multiple ways to say something so you don't come off as like a condescending, tone deaf asshole. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
trust me, I try my very best on this podcast to do that.
And I'm like, and if you don't have the resources to, especially like some of these interviews that we see like online, like people have teams behind them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean? Yeah.
So like, I just feel like when I see that type of stuff, like my patience is very thin. Cause I'm like, you actually have access to resources to prep you for these types of things. Yet you chose to fumble and sound tone deaf. On public platforms.
How is your patience these days? Do you get tested often?
I have amazing patience.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I pray.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say. Let me rephrase that.
Rephrase what part? Like,
I think I have.
I pray.
I do pray. Yeah.
No, I'm certain of it.
I do, and some days I ask for patience and understanding. Moving forward on different days where I'm like, I feel like this may be a rocky day. There's a lot going on. I think I do well with patience. I think sometimes though, my response with patience is silence.
Okay.
So sometimes in me being patient, I'm being silent, or like I could be patient and then have a fuse. But like, I think my patience is very good, but it could.
I mean, and you smile when you say, or you smirk when you say it just comes with silence. Do you feel like there's something wrong with that per se, or?
Okay, so I realized, I don't know if I said this the last time, but like I read a lot of different stuff or like watch different things or whatever. So before I used to feel like, oh, okay, it's fine. If something is not sitting right with you, you know, sometimes it's like just instead of reacting, you know, like be patient and like it's okay to kind of like hold your tongue or just kind of be silent, like, you know, to figure it out, mentally work through it. But I realized to some degree, like I'm silencing myself. Like I'm not vocalizing what it is about the situation that doesn't align with me and is making me feel uncomfortable. And that's not really putting me first. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's almost like succumbing to those circumstances.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think that's always, but obviously some situations you can choose to just be like, you know what, I'm not even gonna say anything. But other times it's like, no, you need to verbalize how you feel because no one can read your mind.
Yes, it's very true.
You know, like you may be agitated, you may be annoyed, and before it'd be like, okay, let me be patient, calm, cool, collected, and that sometimes would be silent as well.
And how do you feel like you've been doing on deciphering on these different circumstances and when you ought to speak up and when you ought to be silent? Like, how do you feel like you?
Oh, I feel like it's an ongoing battle.
Yeah, right.
And I think each battle, depending on who it is or the circumstance, can be very different. You know, I feel like sometimes when people know you the best, for me, it can be a bit challenging because I feel like people know your buttons. Which buttons to push. And it's like, when you know which buttons to push, I'm sitting here trying to be like, okay, let me be patient. Let me think through this and discuss. And it's like, no. Like, you know, and then somebody's like, and it's like,
nope.
I'm trying to be patient. Like, I'm trying to be silent. I'm trying to be calm.
And I guess it would probably irk you even more if, like you said, the person knows you best. So they see that you're trying to exercise patience and they still want to break that.
Sometimes I don't even think that. Sometimes I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's intentional.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like they just have their own agenda of what they would like to do. But on my end, I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't want to partake.
That's interesting because I don't know who it is you're talking about or what specific circumstances, but if they know you best, you would think that they know when you're closing your mouth. You would think that they would know, which to me would then denote that they are now doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
Unless they're like angry and they're just sitting like they're not even.
Let's just poke, like, you know, just like irritate you more. That could be it.
That's interesting.
I think my process is always like, let me just say it's not intentional, and let me focus more on how I can respond.
Yeah.
In a way that like works best for me.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's a constant process. It's like, so I'm constantly working on that. That's like constant work.
Yeah, so I used to be the person that wanted to have every conversation with everyone. I was just always going to remain open to every conversation, no matter who you were or what you were saying.
Right.
Because I always felt like the right words could break the barriers.
Right.
Well, then I continued to read and understand things, and I just realized that I had to do better work with gauging how open the person was to having a real conversation.
Yeah.
And if now, if the person is open, if I can gauge, if I can accurately measure to the best of my ability that they're open to have the conversation, I'll have it with them.
Right.
No matter how far off to one side that they are. Okay. Now, if I'm asking them questions like how much do you believe to be right in this?
Right.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Like, are you you're a 10. Okay.
But something to also throw in that is like when you are having these types of conversations with people who probably don't agree with you or don't have the same stance as you, it's never just like a sit down, calm moment. Like usually things end up escalating, you know, you maybe not on your end, but like to some degree, it's like, I feel strongly about my point.
Right.
Now I'm getting some energy behind me. You know what I mean? And now it's like, we can't even really have a good conversation because it's like, now I feel like you being disrespectful. And it's like, I just feel like I got to disengage just off of the strength of the disrespect because it's like, I'm not going to respond the same way that I was before. You know what I mean? Because now I feel like you're really being rude. You're being disrespectful and it's unnecessary.
Oh well, once it gets to a rude level,
right?
You know what I mean, or like an overbearingly or explicitly rude. Disrespectful level, then you have
and I think
all rights to walk away.
I think that may be the part where I sometimes struggle with. It's like when the disrespect and rudeness comes up, I need to immediately just disengage. And just
also need to know exactly. I mean, I don't even know what disrespect looks like to you, right? Like it could, like I don't, true. Yeah, like it could look different because I know certain people just like that was super disrespectful, and I was like, I didn't think so at all.
Yeah, I feel that, but I feel like we all have the right to have our own meters on what we view as disrespectful. So it's like if I feel like it's disrespectful, I don't want to engage with this anymore, and let me just wipe my hands a bit and end it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I need to do a better job of that.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I don't want to walk away from too many discussions. Well, first of all, the way that I go into things, one, I'm constantly exhibiting what I would like to see from my counterpart. So I'm clearly never getting out of character at all.
Oh no, I could get a little out of character.
I could just tell by the way you said that just now. You seem like you was about to jump on me. Like are we good here, sir? Like are we good? I didn't mean to say nothing.
I don't think I ever walk into a situation and initiate that.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a chance that I probably do for some people, because obviously I have a perception and they could perceive it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think in some instances, like I have been able to be like, you know what? I can tell that we're both getting a little heated right now. Let's revisit this another time.
Mm.
A lot of people do not respond well to that because it feels like you're telling them to let's shut the fuck up and come back to this tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But like in those moments, I'm genuinely saying like, listen, I can tell that we're both kind of going back and forth here. Like you're giving me a lot of energy and I'm gonna respond with some energy too. We're not really getting to the root of this.
Yeah.
Let's just put a needle in that and let's revisit. Yeah, let's table it, revisit that.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like nothing's being accomplished right now.
Right. But obviously the other person has to be receptive of that.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, if you walk away, I mean, at that point, they're just talking to themselves.
Yeah, but that means I actually have to exit.
Physically.
I have to exit the premises. You know what I mean? To leave. You know what I mean?
Yo, you wanted and somebody's just like, no, we still having this conversation. Yeah. Like, it's like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Do you think that would you want to continue to have a conversation with someone that sounds like you now?
And also, it's like now that if you physically leave, now that's also escalated to another level too, because that's almost people take that as disrespect. It was like you done turned your back and left out the house while I was still talking to you. Like that's disrespectful. And you want to say you know what I mean? Like that's still perceived as disrespect as well.
I'm so glad that I don't come across these instances.
Yeah,
I think that whatever it is I do, whatever it is I've equipped myself, I seem to be quite disarming. I'm just not like that's just not happening. One, I don't go into conversations with I don't know, sort of like these omniscient agendas. Like I know everything that's going on and I want to inform you on something. Like I think that when people talk to me, they sense that I'm genuinely curious about what's going on their side.
But also you may just be very good at disengaging before it gets to a point of escalating. You know what I mean? Like you may be doing an amazing job of just jumping to let's just agree to disagree.
I never say that.
Oh, you don't? I say that a lot.
No.
But also like, sometimes if you kind of cut it short before it escalates, that's the best time to do it. Once it has escalated and now you try to end it, it's like, nah, because I still want to fight.
Yo.
So you may just do a great job.
Bless all of you out there trying to have conversations, especially ones with high stakes, ones that are elevated.
And the thing is, it's never that serious. It's never that serious.
I would like to speak about something that is actually kind of coincides with this. It's interesting. Something my grandmother told me a long time ago and always does, which is, always did, very recently did as well. She said, and I think she put it on like a bookmark and laminated it, and she was like printing it out and sending it.
I know that's right.
Sending it.
That had to hit.
It was, you do not have to engage with every argument that you are invited to.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much it.
That's a good one.
she had seen me get into some things when I was younger, some conversations that didn't need to go as far as they did.
Right.
I was young. I just, again, at that time, I was like, let's just have the conversation. And I didn't see that the person sitting across from me had just no sort of no sort of semblance of the intentions that I did, which is let's come to an understanding here. Like, let's try to understand it. Right.
Yeah.
But you may have heard that weeks ago, it's probably 3 or 4 weeks now. Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had this dream, and in the dream, at some point, my grandmother got cold, and I put a coat around her, and then I hugged her really, really tightly, and we almost like coalesced, like the way she had sort of like given to my body, like she sort of like melted away in my arms and all this, and I was like, man, I need to go see her. Like, I need to go see my grandma, and I need to pay very close attention to her.
Right.
And I kind of already done that. I like to give my attention to people when I'm around them. So it was something I'd already done anyway, but I really felt like the impulse to go do this, right? Like, I felt compelled to go do it. And then the holiday seasons came around, and I, started seeing her a whole lot. The family and I going out to eat, doing all this sort of stuff. And every time we were all together, I just sat right next to her and just talked to her. She was 91, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And I just sat there and just talked to her. Yeah. And I would just look at everything that she did or said. I listened to every syllable, every little facial expression, every little muscle, every muscle spasm, everything going on with her.
Yeah.
And so my birthday was January 4th. So that was Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. I just said
Tuesday. I think that was Tuesday.
Very, very interesting turn of events. So she passed yesterday morning.
Oh, wow.
Very heavy morning for the family.
Yeah. So sorry for your loss.
Yeah. And Keon had said a long time ago, because I guess there hadn't been one close enough to me, like a devastation or, something like that, like a tragedy. And he said he always wanted to kind of know, like, how I would deal with it. He just wanted to know, like, what that would look like for Earl, I guess.
Right, yeah.
And I got the call, and I was like, all right, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
I got in the car, and I went over there. And I was and am at such peace.
Really?
With it.
Do you feel like it has to do with like your dream that you had and like the whole?
Yeah, I think so. That was a big part of it. I think that I kind of felt this coming. I felt that there was like a preparation for it.
Yeah.
I felt, one, that I've had quite when I say relationship with death, so like the relationship with the understanding of life and death for quite some time. Right. And I've kind of gotten over the idea that we are just mortal beings and that people come and go. And I talk about death on this podcast all the time. And that's why, because I'm like, guys, like, I don't think that we're, as a collective, understanding that we're all going to go.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the questions and the ideas and concepts that I raise on this podcast are, how are you spending your day today?
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of goes into the whole boredom thing we're talking about. It's like, fuck, that's rough.
Right.
Because we're going. How are you spending this day? Bored? That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Especially if you happen to be on this spectrum of people where you just said may not even be able to turn the dial. Right. Like, it's not even an option.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. Maybe even more unfortunate for the people that can but don't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because that's deep too.
100%.
Few things. And I talked about this on one of the other ones when a friend of mine was saying that a friend or an ex-friend of hers blocked her on all social media because she would not call her and text her like every 2 to 3 days. Oh. And I was saying, my understanding of that is that she's not secure enough in y'all's relationship to know that if she doesn't hear from you for 2 days, that it's still a solid thing going on. Exactly. Right. So, yes, I had the preparation dream right? That sort of prepared me for it. And I'm taking in, I'm locking in every single moment that I'm having with her. And I just know intuitively it is for something.
Yeah.
And then there's just the idea that there was nothing unresolved there, which is, I'm certain it's a huge deal when things are unresolved, right? I knew my relationship with my grandma was solid.
Right.
I loved her and she knew it. And she loved me and I knew it.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
She lived a full life.
Yeah.
Last thing I ever heard from her was happy birthday.
Aw.
I'm like, all right, grandma, go ahead and go about your way.
We're dealing with it well.
Yeah, we're good here. My grief came from feeling for other people.
Right.
So then when I get in the house, I'm in a house full of people going through other ways of dealing with this. Ooh. Then I'm like,
and how do you respond to that?
Oh, I don't. I mean, just as I do in just regular conversation, I do not fill spaces with words because of some weird sense of awkwardness, I guess, that people feel. So, that is definitely something that takes place. Some people just saying random things just to fill space. I'm like, that's interesting that's happening. That's quite interesting that you're.
No, that's interesting.
That you. Oh yeah, I was just observing things around the house. I was like, that's interesting that you're just talking about this thing in the corner. That's interesting that there's just a home makeover television show that you guys are watching over here.
Okay.
Like, interesting how different people have to distractions and such sort. And so,
good for you,
I hug people when they need hugs.
Yeah.
And I tell them, hey, I love you. This person loved you and they knew that they were loved.
Yeah.
Like, and then aside from that, I sit down and I shut my mouth.
Good for you, because let me tell you something. I'm an empath. I'm a crier. Just
no! I cried.
Oh, okay,
I cried with him.
I thought that you weren't. I'm just saying.
I'm not just walking around looking cold.
No, I mean, no, because some people aren't necessarily like criers. Like I had to acknowledge, like, I'm a crier. I'm an empath. So like other people's energy, like I can pick up on it. It can impact me. So like just from watching This Is Us, I don't know if you know that show.
Yes, I know the show.
I'd be balling watching This Is Us. Like I just watched the first episode of the new season. And I was in there like, okay. Well, I am a crier. And that's how my mom is. Literally, I would tell my brother one time, like my mom came to my apartment and I was watching This Is Us. We're laying in the bed. I'm sitting here late like this, tears just dropping. And then after the episode, I turn and look at her. She's nervous. I'm like, wasn't that such a great episode? Like I'm just moved by these things.
I completely understand.
Yeah. Like literally, like if somebody else is displaying that emotion and crying, it's like, I can't, let me just exit, because this ain't in my pain to feel. Like it's your pain to feel. And it's like, I don't want to be like, now everybody's like, oh, somebody come help the baby. I done came here because y'all are going through it. And here I am like in need of assistance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody again processes these things very, quite differently, but it is quite an interesting scenario to go through with people and picking up on other people's emotions. And you just see how people move in a position that they're not usually in.
Right.
It's like we get to see you when everything is good, when people are just at dinner or y'all are having drinks or it's whatever, or gifts are being given. But like what happens? Yeah. How do you conduct yourself when it ain't all good?
I can't even imagine.
It's quite it's very, very interesting to be in. I observed everything.
I can't even imagine.
It was quite the experience. Like I said, I'm quite at peace with it. My thing is never, none of the grief or sorrow again came from the fact that this person left the planet. It's just I'm weeping for the people that feel like maybe they could have done something else.
They could have done more.
They could have been better.
Right.
Right. That they're just maybe this person left and they felt like when I said she knew I loved her,
yeah,
she could have left, and this other person could have been thinking they didn't know
right,
that I loved them.
right.
Matter of fact, there's a very good chance that they thought the contrary.
Yeah. I think it also speaks to you, though. Like, I feel like you, just your aura and your being, like, you ask these questions and have these conversations and make out the time and, like, take those types of dreams serious. You know what I mean? And, like, so I feel like you were solidified because you as a person took the steps to solidify it to some degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Like, you may be, like, more of a holistic individual. So you're able to receive that type of situation in a better way than someone else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think so. Because when I was on the phone with her the morning of my birthday, you know, my dad hit me up. He's just like, yo, happy birthday. And I'm just like, how's grandma?
Yeah.
And then he put her on the phone, and, you know, I could tell she was sort of delirious. She was sort of going in and out, but she was able to get across like a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. And I said what we always say, or a lot of us say, hey, I'm going to come see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Next morning, I get the call. Right? So,
Wow.
So you're right. Because of the way that I interact with people, it's solidified. It's been solidified.
Right.
So a moment like that where I felt like, where I could have felt, oh, damn, it shouldn't have been a tomorrow. It should have been I'll be over in 20 minutes.
Right.
That could have crumbled.
Yeah.
Someone that didn't
100%.
have that holistic sense of looking. Yeah, that could have been very bad.
Yeah.
So I'm
especially that timing. That's
blessed.
Like a very, very quick turnaround.
Very quick.
Yeah, that is a blessing.
So yeah, so I'm this has just been a part of acknowledging blessings.
Yeah.
So
100%. that's
the common thread between everything.
Gratitude.
Yeah, that's what this is. So yeah, so that's sort of, you know, my idea with everything that went down. I'm hoping the best. I went over there today and just much better vibes than the day before. So I was just like, whew, it just felt really good about that. I was able to go over there and we were able to sort of get over this hump where we could start talking about past memories, start making some jokes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now we're laughing together.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. Now we're getting the ball rolling. So
the one thing that I think is good about, like, well, everyone doesn't do it, but like, I feel like this generation is very involved in like pictures and taking videos and stuff like that. And I feel like those moments, like, you're so grateful for those, like, after someone's no longer here, because now you have like different photos or pictures or videos or voice memos that you can reference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll see like on these heartfelt videos that will have me bawling, of like people that get like a teddy bear and like get a voice memo of like their mom that passed and like give it to their dad or something.
Yeah.
And like the fathers literally break down. It's like, I don't have any recordings of my wife, and like this is the only thing I have of her.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like just these cute little memories and moments, like, so you can still feel connected to this person. Like that's such a blessing, like, in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I mean, when you talk about me being holistic in a sense of interactions with people, and clearly interactions with myself, because it starts there, right? That if there was, again, I was at peace with this before it even happened, but if there is something that would have come from it, had I not already been who I was before and been practicing the things that I was practicing when it came to engagement with people, it would have been, and maybe it still is in some sense, or maybe like as a reinforcement to the things that I already believe and have been practicing. It would just be that continue to do that. Continue to be there when you're speaking with people.
Right.
Continue to give them your attention.
Right.
Don't have it be, as we reference back to the term bore, an unwanted attention, an unwelcome attention. That's to be looking at someone, and I don't say this in a tone deaf, condescending way, as if I was never this person in life. I understand the blessing of being who I am now. Looking, just imagine me having a podcast, and not even to shit on people, because I know people do this because everybody just can't have this level of cognizance. But you just come into the podcast and it just seems like I don't really even want to do this. like I just here. Like I just do a podcast because it's cool, because it seems cool.
Told you had to have somebody in here today.
Like, yeah, just because I want to be able to say, oh, I do a podcast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that sort of energy,
right? And
that's just not what I'm like. That's just weird. Mikey just told me about a dream that he had, and I'll spare a lot of the details, but he talked about us like being in a theater, maybe like 2,000 seater. And that on this screen up on the stage, or where a stage would be, was just like, I don't know, highlights or just clips of the podcast memories that have happened. And it seemed that everyone there, it just seemed like an extremely intimate moment for everyone that was there. Everyone there felt comfortable with everyone else there. What they were viewing meant something to them. Mm-hmm. And, when he said that, because he said it just seemed very true. Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I thought, that's really all I want. I actually wanted to talk about revisions in the way that we think about things. Because, it's just very difficult for people to just say, you know what, I was wrong about that. Yeah. I should revise my thoughts. I should, you know what I mean? I should really take that back.
Yeah.
And I have two that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
One of them I'm proud of because it was like quick. It was just like, it was like, like it happened immediately. I said something to my friend and I immediately took it back. And it was, we were talking about how in his family, he also has someone that's sick. And how, actually, it's his grandmother. And how there are just people in the family that have had some animosity with her, and they're just not talking to her. They're still not talking to her, even though she's sick.
Yeah.
And they're just not talking.
Right.
And he was like, I just don't feel like it should take the most, just the most turmoil and devastation and trepidation to bring us together.
Right.
We shouldn't have to wait for a funeral, hypothetically speaking, for us to come together. And then when he said that, I thought, yeah, that almost even makes me question the legitimacy of the togetherness at the funeral. What are we coming together for now that we couldn't have done before? Trust me, you're right.
Right.
And then I even threw like a Drake quote in there from like the song that he had with Game. Is called, I know it was the worst. I said it's something like, "Don't come to my funeral with that fake shit." But the thing is this, I got done saying this. I was saying, when I go in whatever celebration it is, because I would like it to be more of a celebration. Don't come. This is meant for certain people.
Yeah.
This is meant for people that loved me and that were there and were ready to have conversation and show love and this, that, and the third. And I got done saying that, and I heard myself say these words, and then I said, no.
Yeah.
Please let me redact everything that I just said.
Please.
That was harsh.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered and interacted with when I'm gone the way that I would hope people would feel with interacting with me while I'm here, which is comfortable.
Yeah.
I want people, like, whatever it is you got to do. If you weren't there, that's fine. Come on, say what it is you need to say. Like, right. I just want people to be able to grow, whether I'm here, whether I'm not, whether they were there, whether they were not. Like, I don't want to inhibit anyone's growth or comfort.
But I also feel like if that's what you want, like, that's okay too.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, for me personally, I'm going to pick the latter version, but I'm not going to, condemn anyone.
What is this saying that people keep saying, the latter version?
The latter, Latter. So you have the latter and the former. So if you propose
yes, but when did this start?
Oh,
I just feel like I've been seeing it so frequently lately.
You could just be paying attention to it more, like the word fervor.
Not
right?
even. Like I'll see it. Like we'll be like the latter version. I'm just like, has this always been a terminology that people are using?
That's it. One, by the way, that's another one where we're not saying it quite right, like goal, right, or football.
Yeah.
Like we're just like the ladder. No, a ladder is something you climb up.
So how do you
the
say
latter?
It? The latter.
The latter.
The latter.
Do you say blue or blue?
Blue.
Say it one more time.
Blue.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Even so, I just feel like I've been seeing that more frequently, like lately. And I'm like, where did this come from? Because a lot of people are using it.
Who knows, like why it got popping? I guess you could say. Like I don't know what words are popping.
Well, that one seems to be sticking out to me.
Okay, well,
I thought you had the answer.
No, I don't know what words people are using. What's hot? You know me. I don't know. You don't know.
You seem to know.
No, I used that word before it was popping.
Okay.
Yeah, I can promise you that because I don't know when words are popping or not. I just know words and use them.
Using words.
Yeah. So that's how I would feel with that. The other thing that I wanted to revise was that when I had my dear friend JP on here, she asked me where I wanted to take the podcast. And, I got super passionate, started talking about the moon and stuff like that. Like I'm taking it to the moon. I'm just going to keep speaking into this microphone the way that I do. I'm going to keep doing what I do behind the scenes. We're going to get it to where. And then and then time passes after that episode. And I just think more and just get sort of more into this newer version of myself that has been sort of forming, which is a whole lot more serene version. Honestly, and a whole lot more understanding version of myself. And when Mikey talked to me about this dream of it seeming so deep, so intimate, so true, so connected for everybody there, I said, that's all I'm looking for.
Right.
That's all I truly care about.
Right. Is
the fact that when I do this, it is that. It is those things right then and there, because that's what I care about. That's what keeps me from being bored, is that I care in it to a healthy degree about like everything.
Right.
Like everything makes me feel something or think about something constant, and I'm pleasantly, and I'm quite pleased to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly participating in life constantly, in every single moment. And I hope that comes across when I'm having these conversations, when I'm doing these things. And that's why I think he sensed some sense of just trueness and meaningfulness in his dream in regards to the podcast.
I do have to say that I'm jealous of both of you for being able to recall your dreams so vividly and clearly.
Yeah.
I do not be waking up and remembering my dreams.
What's your sleep like?
I think I sleep pretty good.
Not saying it like that. Not saying it like that, you know. What sort of hours we talk about? What are you getting?
I get like 9 hours most of the time.
Oh, most of the time it's 9.
Ever since having this new job, I get like 8 to 9 hours often.
Okay, all right, okay.
And even on late nights, because it's like I don't wake up until like 9:30.
Okay.
So I be getting
What's the climate in your room?
What do you mean by that?
Like, what's it? You like it? Yeah, you like it cold? You like it? You got a fan on?
No, I don't have a fan on.
Okay. You like it warm? Do you sleep with? Oh no, you've told us how you sleep. Okay. How did
I say how I sleep? When I say this? What?
So it's not just memory and by my dreams. Yeah. I remember things.
Oh, in general.
Yes. Memory 101 is you have to be there in order to remember something.
Right.
So the fact that I have whatever sense of presence that I have, it allows me to remember a lot of things.
So I don't know what's been happening with me lately, but I can honestly acknowledge that in like I constantly do not remember things. Like sometimes there'll be moments where it's like something just happened 5 minutes ago, and it's like I do not remember that. And like Mikkel specifically will really be like, so I just said that. I'm just like, girl, I don't remember, but sure, let's keep it pushing. But like, that's not to say that.
Sure, sounds good, girl. Let's keep it pushing. Like,
yeah, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going back and forth with you. If you said that's what happened, that's what happened. I feel like,
are these things significant to the people that are participating in moments with you?
That's a good question because I don't necessarily know.
Okay.
But I don't think it's significant moments because I think things that I view as very significant to some degree, I think I do retain that. So I don't know if like my memory is now
significant to you.
Yes. I think my memory is becoming that way where it's like, it's very much like if I find it to be significant, if it impacted me, like I remember it. like it's not that like I have like I remember, but I just don't be remembering everything and every detail.
Okay,
you know
how about this? You're an empath.
Yes.
Right? So you feel or you can more easily pick up the sentiments from other people.
Right.
So you're also saying here now that you're remembering and locking in with the things that mean something to you. But do you ever get the sense when you're speaking to someone that what they're talking about truly means something to them?
Oh, I always
and then you
that.
Feel that, which would make you lock in whatever it is they're saying.
Yeah, I always feel that way.
Well, you don't always feel that way because
let me clarify. What I'm not saying that I don't remember anything or anyone else's experiences. No, I'm not saying that. Or anyone else's conversation stuff. I'm just saying like over a span of like a month, like I don't remember every single day. You know what I mean? Right. I don't remember every single detail, but there are different memories that like jump out and I can like recall it very thoroughly. But there are other memories where I'm just like, really?
Do you feel as though
I don't really remember that.
Do you feel as though you're speaking to people that don't necessarily care much about the things that they're speaking about? Like, follow my train of thought. If you feel what they feel and they're feeling meaning, which then makes you feel meaning, which then would unlock your technique of memory, right? Your accessibility to memory, then the people you're speaking to like on a frequent basis wouldn't necessarily be caring enough about what it is they're saying, because then you would sense the meaning, which would unlock your memory or your tool of memory.
Mm-hmm. You just said a lot. So let me just say this. You said a lot right there.
Do you want me to, I can remix it. You want me to do it again? Because if you didn't understand it, like I can do this again. Okay.
Let's try it again.
Let me try it again.
I want to acknowledge and accurately respond to what you're asking.
Absolutely. Okay. So you said that you can feel what other people feel.
Right.
Okay. Greatly. To a great degree.
Or other people's feelings.
Right.
Will impact my feelings.
And you also said that when something is meaningful to you, you can remember it very easily. Like you just do.
I'm more likely to remember that.
Right. Yes. So if someone else that you're speaking to is speaking about something that they really care about, is meaningful, then you're going to see that on them. Right. You're going to hear that coming from them, which is then, since you're an empath, is going to make you feel as though it's a meaningful thing, which then is going to make you remember it.
Yeah.
So do you feel as though you're speaking to people on a constant basis that are not caring truly about what it is they even have to say?
No.
Which is having you not remembering what they're saying.
No.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's not necessarily like, I don't remember this conversation. It could just be like small things where it's like, where were we? Wait, why were we there? What was the sequence of our night? Like, I don't fully remember the sequences. I remember us being here in Arlington, but like, what did we do before we got, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, there could be something else. Last time you were here, I tried to offer you some rosé. You turned it down. You're talking about calories and all of this and that. Right?
I remember that.
So how often are you drinking alcohol?
Oh, we're not going to do that. First of all,
because you talking to me about like Arlington and the sequence of the night, so now I'm thinking that there's.
But I can also acknowledge as I've gotten older, when I do drink alcohol, I don't remember the sequence of the night as much, like instantly. But like later in the day, like it'll kind of like
slowly come back.
But like in general, like there's just a lot of things that sometimes it's like, oh dang, I don't really remember that instantly. Maybe I don't remember it, but maybe like over a period of time, like I'll be able to recollect certain things, or if somebody else says something, it can jog my memory. But I've actively realized that I sometimes do not be. I don't remember things.
Yeah.
And it's no like negative intent. Like that's just how it is. Like in regard to my dreams, I've kind of always been that way with my dreams. And I read something, I remember seeing something that seemed like that was normal. That like everyone doesn't remember every dream that they have every night.
No.
But like once in a blue moon, like I'll wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I had a dream. And like I'll remember my dream and be able to like say what happened. But like that's not like
you write them down when you do remember them?
Okay. Not really.
Okay.
And like I'll maybe tell somebody that's there. But you ever, it's not really that significant.
Interpret or take anything out
from
of
my
it?
Dreams?
Yeah, ever or just try, I don't know, maybe just get creative and just think about it at all?
I think I have before. But I mean, I'm not a professional, so I don't necessarily. I'm just making like guesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever I'm talking to, like we're both kind of guessing what's going on. Be like, oh well, what's your horoscope? Did you read? Like,
oh shit.
How does that align with that? Like maybe this means that, you know what I mean? But it's like it's never anything like the dream that you said that you had in regard to your grandma. I've never really had a overly like meaningful dream on that type of level.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But yeah, who knows? Like that's still a possibility, but that's just not my experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all. I'm not digging. You said the word digging at the beginning, like you're digging for deeper things. And I wondered, because with a word like that, if you felt like it was, I mean, like intrusive, literally just speaking. No. Okay.
What's a good word I could have said to use intrusive? I don't know what else I could have said. I would have said you were being intrusive.
Oh, okay. You would have just said
you're trying to pull information out of people.
Yeah, like you're prying.
I think that, like me saying you're trying to pull it out of, like I feel like that's more of like intrusive.
Yeah. It's definitely pulling people is definitely intrusive.
Right.
So,
It's more of like you're creating a platform of where deep conversations take place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does your creativity take place most?
Like location, or like what do you mean?
However you would like to answer that, actually. Now that you sort of opened it. Yeah.
So previously, I think I've had different runs with creativity, and they all look differently. So like I used to have like a YouTube channel. So like that could mean I was doing a vlog, or like I was doing a makeup tutorial or stuff. Like now, my creativity could look more of like I'm doing my makeup and making a reel, or it could be like, getting dressed and making a post or whatever. But like recently I decided that I want to, also I like doing puzzles. So I feel like that gives kind of a creative layer as well.
Okay.
But I decided that I do want to try to make more time for things that I enjoy doing that are creative. Like I actually like painting, but the only times that I really paint is like during wine and paint situations where like there's some type of instruction being given. I feel like I should make more time for like just painting and like learning how to paint and setting that time aside to like be creative. But,
so I'm going to touch on two things. We're going to get to painting second. Okay. Spanish lesson real fast. Tu piel. Go ahead. Go for it. Tu.
No habla.
Yes, you do. And it would have been no hablo, but it's fine.
No sé.
Nothing. Tu piel es vibrante. Your skin is vibrant. What's your skincare regimen?
Every time, I was just saying something about this in Cancun.
Yo, you not fitting to just not try to follow me with a simple sentence just because you didn't want to try it on air, but then say Cancun. We're not doing that. Nah.
Let me preface this by saying that I have been blessed with great skin. Okay, let me preface it by saying that. Okay. But I feel like I do a good job of maintaining my blessed skin that I've been given. So I usually use CeraVe products.
What's that?
CeraVe.
CeraVe.
So like I like to wash my face in the morning and at night. So like in the morning I like to use like a light cleanser, and then usually I apply like some type of moisturizer. Sometimes I use sunscreen. I haven't been doing it as frequently. But that's just something that I did as well. And like sometimes I miss depending on what's going on. In the winter, my skin gets a little drier, so I pay more attention to like making sure I'm moisturizing adequately.
Having black skin as well as putting on sunscreen, do you take vitamin D?
I do take vitamin D. Actually, but I recently stopped because I saw a video speaking of how vitamins have so many different additives in them that sometimes are not exactly what you want. So I stopped taking that one because I need to actually find a vitamin D supplement that I'm more comfortable with.
Okay.
But yeah, I have been taking vitamin
well, that's good.
D.
You're being conscious about that.
Right. The thing is, I try to be conscious, and then once I find out, it's like, damn it, I can't go back to it now. So now I'm just like, it's just on pause. Like, I'm just not take that. But it's like, I need my vitamin D.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what else did I use? Sometimes I use active ingredients on my face as well, which if you don't do research on it, I advise people to do research before they use them. It can actually like ruin your skin and burn your skin literally. Like because I know this because I did that. Like I didn't research the products and the active ingredients. Literally my face felt like it was on fire for like a week or two.
Ooh.
And I mean,
nah, we don't got time for that.
It wasn't even visible. Like other people couldn't tell. Even when I do have blemishes, most people can't tell. I'm just fighting an internal battle. But I'm fighting the battle. Like I'm the one that's looking in like my little mirror and looking.
Gracious.
Yeah. I was literally trying to find a face ice pack.
Right, yeah.
Like it was that bad. It was like last winter. Like
yikes.
Yeah, active ingredients. So I now know how to use those active ingredients effectively. Yeah. So usually I apply those at night, depending on what I need. Yeah, that's kind of my skincare regimen in a nut.
Okay, and then all over to your painting that you want to get more into or delve into more, give more time to. What are you using? Are we talking about watercolors, acrylics? See, that's the thing. I need to like really look into the type of painting that I want to do. I just know that when I do paint for wine and paint classes, I really enjoy it. Okay. And I think the paintings that I do are pretty decent. You've done the sipping paints?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I've done like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Where at?
I did one at like Fair Oaks before. I did one like somewhere in Arlington. Miss Robin had one like for her. I don't think was it her birthday? I don't remember. We did a virtual one at headquarters.
Headquarters. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
And I think that's all of them, but maybe I'm missing one or something. But yeah, it's been multiple settings. Yeah. You did send me, because I'm assuming your podcast is still in beta stages. Man.
That's what you got. That's your response, man.
Sometimes I bite off too much that I can chew.
Oh yeah.
And also too, I tend to be a perfectionist. But when I recently talked to one of my friends, I realized that sometimes saying I'm a perfectionist is kind of like a barrier, because now it's like I'm not gonna do this until I can get it perfect, which just adds more time and like puts on the back burner even longer and longer and longer. Yeah. So
your friend or co-host, I believe I should say, she has the voice of an angel.
That's what I told her.
The voice of an angel. Yeah, you sent me like a little thing.
But you heard how like our voices were like clashing, like in like the sound. Like when we would laugh, like we sound like wild hyenas. We sound like
I mean, there's technical stuff that you got to figure out, and so of course as a perfectionist, like it's gonna bother you. It's going to bother you. Yeah, we just kind of let it rock with the bad quality for a while. We were just like, nah.
See, that's another thing. That's why I'm like, yo, it's okay to like have that quality and then like grow from it. But like my whole thing is like, no, that's really like in the trenches. Like, let's just get to like bad and then go from that. Okay. You know what I mean? I felt like that was like, this is very much in the trenches. Like, this is bottom of the barrel.
What was interesting to me is there was a point where you said, I'm sick of celebrities just giving us all their business all the time. like just shut. Like we didn't ask for that. Like, we don't need to know what's going on in the bed. Like for real. We're like relax. So I guess what I should ask, because you did speak of like just a tidbit on this, because we spoke about Lala for a second.
Yeah.
And you said that you've always wanted to be in entertainment media, is what you called it, correct?
Yes,
yeah. Entertainment media. And so you decided you were going to start podcasting because you wanted to create your own way. Right? Like opportunities aren't always given, so you want to make your own way, which is clearly commendable, which is an awesome thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I didn't ask you this question. But that's a little bit why I was upset at the last one. Like I didn't do a good enough job with you in particular.
Yeah. Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, okay. For sure. Why why entertainment media? Because I just hear this contrast. I hear you say, stop giving us information, but yet you do like to play sport with the.
I like celebrity tea. I like celebrity drama. But when I was talking about that specifically, it was the time where every week Will and Jada told us something, and it was like, it's getting to be too much. Like I don't even think I've ever said that before. Where I'm like, yo, keep your business to yourself.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like, and that's like, I watch reality TV. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know the tea. Like, what's going on? Like, let me see the drama. What's happening? You know what I mean? I want to know. But it's like, damn, don't spill the whole bag. I'm tired of it. And maybe it could be what's coming out the bag that I don't like. You know
it might.
Maybe it's not that you actually spilling it. It's just that the shit that's coming out. I'm like, well, damn, you could have kept that to yourself.
All right, so why do you like entertainment media? Why do you like the celebrity tea? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to get at. Right. What is it about this lifestyle that really gets to you?
So that's a really great question, and I can't even say.
That's a great question, Earl. I'm gonna come back. In like 10 episodes from now.
Let's table that.
Right.
And we'll come back to it.
Well, let me give you a second to kind of think about it.
Yeah.
Let me do that. And the other day I was talking to Duty.
Yeah.
And I have to credit him with this because I'd never heard this before. Mm-hmm. And he just said this off the cuff. I thought this was it was wild. Mm-hmm. So for some reason or another, I think we were just talking about health and getting older, and he brought up LeBron James. Mm-hmm. And that this man is however old he is, and he's been playing in the league for 19 years. In the National Basketball Association. Yeah. At the highest level. Right. The whole time.
Right.
And then he was like, let me put it in perspective for you. He was like, and by the way, this is the first time I've thought of this. I have to give him his flowers. He was like, he's been playing in the NBA longer than he hasn't been playing in the NBA.
I've heard that saying where it's like, you've been doing this longer than what you haven't. You know what I mean?
I was like,
it's like, damn. Once you put it like that, it's like.
And we're talking about the highest level performance that human beings have to offer in the. I don't even know.
Is he touching 40? He's probably 40.
Is he? Nah, I don't think it's 40.
Is he like 38?
Yeah, it's gotta be like. Let's see.
I'm gonna lock in 39.
What you mean you're gonna lock it in?
That's my final guess.
That's your. Oh, okay. I got you. Let's see. We got LeBron James. LeBron James is 37.
You know what? I just thought in my head, I'm like, wait, let me change to 37.
You can't lock in and then
exactly. I was like, I can't lock in and then go back on it. Like
37. Yeah. Yo, to be 37. In the league longer than, because it's like, so most of what you know
is being a professional athlete. Yeah.
Are you at the highest level of that?
Yeah. See, what I like with athletes though, it's like when Dwayne Wade retired and Gabrielle Union was talking about like now he's in like, normal life. Not even normal life, but like not a professional active professional athlete.
Right.
She said like he went to the store to like go pick up. I think he was talking about, she asked him like, do you even know how much like eggs or like milk cost? I think he said like what, $30? It's like the disconnect of like you don't even know what basic simple groceries like cost.
Bro, no, we would not be out here being able to live if eggs was $30.
And then I see stuff like that. I'm like, what would be a funny segment? Like just asking like different like high grossing celebrities like to name the price of like regular groceries.
This pen, right? Yeah, just things like that.
How much is shredded cheese?
And so when he said this, I'm just thinking like his and people that know basketball and know him know that something like a part of his game that has accelerated greatly throughout his years has been his passing. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking he's been doing this for the better half of his life at the highest level. It still doesn't quite make sense to me.
Yeah.
It does, and I'm just thinking, I wonder what the basketball court looks like to him. Because when we watch the game of basketball, what he's seeing on the court is a completely different game. Right, I feel like,
for sure.
I feel like he's just seeing a million different possibilities in things that we just can't even tap. Again, it's that frequency that we can't even tap into. And it just made me think about, like, who has the greatest LeBron James interview? Like, who decides which one is the greatest? Like, we need the best interviewer in the world to get into the mind of LeBron James. Yeah. Like, I want to know how he sees things, how he feels truly about his status and his longevity in this game.
Right.
And what it's like to probably be one of the only people in the world to ever be able to say something like that.
Yeah.
In human history.
Right.
And so when I think of that, I think it would be interesting to pick his brain, to know a little bit about his vision.
For sure.
That isn't to say I want him to spill the tea, but I'd like to pick his brain.
Yeah.
So I ask you again, what is it about the tea of celebrities that you're looking for?
Yeah. I think also, too, a reason that I enjoy entertainment news and media is, like, sometimes it's not always, like, celebrity gossip, but sometimes it's just, like, television programs or, like, movie premieres, like the inclusion of Black people in a cast, like Insecure, like, you know, getting a chance to sit down and, like, talk to people about the process behind, like, this TV show or, like, this movie or something, you know? But that's all encompassed within entertainment news and entertainment media. You know?
Right,
Like, celebrity gossip is, like, just one avenue of it.
Okay.
Like, there's, like, a whole nother, like, side of it as well, you know?
So you would never want to do just, like, a gossip column or podcast?
That's where it's, like, that I don't think I could really deal with that, you know what I mean? Like, and I think I've realized that more and more over time, like the areas of entertainment news and media that stick out to me the most and that I'm interested in the most, you know?
I ask you this mostly because, you know, what was it? Oh, yeah. You, this is hilarious. Oh, you thought, when I walked you in here from the car, you thought that Earl Lonnie Hooks was like a stage name.
Yeah.
You thought that I had come up with some stage name, and not only did you think it was a stage name, but you also backed it up by saying that would be on brand for me.
For sure.
So I don't believe that to be the case, but I also don't know who you see when you look at me or when you hear me speak.
Right.
So let me let you know a little bit about what I see when I look at you.
Oh, goodness.
I ask you this question about entertainment media, and you're right. For a second, I was certainly being a bit narrow and thinking mostly gossip.
No.
Because I'm thinking, I don't see why she would want to engulf her life in that.
Giving messy tea vibes.
Like, no, I don't. Like, I just see so much more from you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. There's no fucking way that she just wants to be a part of people's gossip. There's no way.
The shade room is that's where it's at.
So
I'll say this, and I can't necessarily, I don't know if I'm answering your question exactly, but I'll say this. Ever since I was younger, I've always been drawn to, like, entertainment, like, media.
Okay.
So, like, even at a young age, like, I remember, like, everybody usually wakes up on Saturdays and watches cartoons. Like, as a kid.
Yeah, I remember that.
I never wanted to watch them damn cartoons. It was so annoying because my brother and sister, obviously 2 outweigh 1, they always wanted to watch that. Like, I wanted to watch Bob Ross. Like, I was watching, I was watching Emerald Lagasse. Like, I was watching, like, Food Network. So I was watching, like, I guess, like, reality-based television programs.
Yes.
Like, for a majority of, like, my life. Like, after that, it was like, okay, I'm watching Moesha. Like, when Girlfriends just got released on Netflix, a lot of people was like, I've never watched them. Like, I was watching that when I was in middle school. Like, I was watching, like, Run's House. Like, I was like, all these reality TV shows that used to take place. Like, Kimora Lee Simmons, like, had, like, a show. Like, I was watching those types of things and, like, seeing, like, Crib, like, all this stuff, you know what I mean? Loved it. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but, like, I would love to be a part of this somehow. And then it just been like, okay, I like this type of thing. This is what I'm interested in. Then in high school, I happened to do the announcements. And
you told me that.
Yeah, like the nurse was like, I don't know what you're about to do, but I think you'd be great at this. And I'm just like, I never even knew how this like what this looked like. And that's when I'm like, oh, okay, well, I do really like entertainment news and I do love media. Like,
and you've always felt comfortable in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, in front of people.
I don't think I always have, but definitely like for the past like 5-7 years, like a part of my life, like, yeah, I have felt comfortable. You know what I mean?
When was the last little stint you had where you felt like you were? Because I mean, it's a constant thing. I understand that, but when was the last like real stint you had where you felt like you came into a new part of yourself?
That's a good question.
Anytime in the last like year or 2 years or maybe 3 years ago, like where something happened and you felt like you just sort of blossomed in a new way.
I think I'm constantly blossoming in a new way, but I think it's more of like it constantly accepting me more, being comfortable with me and like my perspective. You know?
Okay.
So like I know it's a time of like New Year's resolutions right now. We're in January. Like last year, like my New Year's resolution was not really, it was like a kind of like a year-long thing where it's like my goal is to like change my perspective and change the way that I think, because that literally controls everything else. You know what I mean? It's like changing the relationships that I have with like food in terms of like, instead of being like, oh, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds, like just be like more so of like, let me eat things that are better for me in the long run and longevity of health.
Yes.
Like the physique will come with that. Like when it comes to exercise, it's like I don't necessarily need to exercise because the goal is to lose weight. It needs to be because you need to exercise. That's a part of life. Like,
yes.
You know, like you drink water because you need to replenish your body. You're supposed to drink water.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like kind of like having those new thought processes. You know what I mean? We're kind of like acknowledging like, okay, you do work hard. You do kind of have different skills that other people don't necessarily have. Like step into it and realize that like you deserve that. Like you can do this. Like this does work for you. This is a path that you can walk on and you can achieve. You know what I mean? So I feel like in that regard, that's kind of like a new way of like blossoming. It's kind of like, you know, I'll always say that like I say this all the time. I was supposed to get like a butterfly tattoo because I wanted to symbolize this, but I always like describe it of like, you know, most of us, we all start in a cocoon, you know what I mean? Or a larva if you want to go that far back. But a cocoon, right? And everyone's wings break out at different times of your life. Like it could be in college, it could be when you're 22, when you're 16, when you're 9, and you can become who you truly are. And both your wings are flapping. You're just out here doing your thing. Like this is truly you. I feel like that didn't happen for me until like maybe, I can even say maybe like 2 years ago, maybe, or even a year ago. And now I feel like my wings are here. And they are doing their thing, you know, like, and it's like, I can look back and be like, wow, look at like that growth and like where I am now. And like, I'm so in love with that. Yeah. And obviously there's still more growth to happen, but it's still like, I'm going to be growing with having my wings in this.
Are you understanding of the past you, or do you ever look back and 100%. Cringe at any moments?
I think you can still have understanding and cringe.
Okay.
I think the two can exist.
Yeah.
And I like to journal as well. I wish I would have journaled, like I said this the other day, I wish I would have been journaling like my whole like adult life and like had access to it. Because I love going back and looking at journal entries, you know, and being like, and I'll mark like the year, like the date and stuff. So I like, it's 2022. I love being able to like look back at January 2021 Sylvia. And like, even if I was in a bad place or the things that I was going through and experiencing, to be able to look back and be like, wow, look at how I overcame that. Or look at how like something that was really holding me down and had me like, you know, just in distress was really not even that serious. And I overcame it and it worked out the way it was supposed to, you know? So I feel like I encourage everyone to journal because I feel like it helps to acknowledge your growth, because sometimes you don't acknowledge the small victories that you're having, because sometimes it's not like a huge aha moment, you know? Like it can be like small little steps that you're taking forward, but you still step forward. And like you need to kind of acknowledge that and congratulate yourself for it. You know what I mean?
I think you do. And I remember when I had an epiphany myself, and then I had to go look up the word epiphany because I was like, what is this really? And then when I found out it's just like this revelation that takes place when doing something seemingly routine, it seems like it only happens that way because there is a bunch of small victories and you may or may not have acknowledged them, right, but they were taking place. So what you think is just this aha moment that came out of nowhere did not come out of nowhere. Right. It's been coming out of all the small victories that have been taking place. Yeah. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That is good. You're dropping bars. You're giving gems to people. Yeah, I just like stopped talking because you started talking a lot, and I was like, she has no idea she's doing the talking thing right now. Like, she has no idea. If I called it out, she'd probably stop talking as much. But you did say you want to listen more, and I find that admirable because I don't think a lot of people. I don't hear a lot of people just say, "I want to listen more." Why?
Active listen.
Yeah, for sure.
There's different types of listening.
Yes, there are. Yeah. Yes, there are. And how do you do with that?
What, listening?
Yeah. I mean, we know about the memory, so that kind of gives us a little bit of an answer, but go ahead. Tell me about, are there things you try to do to actively listen? Like, are there things you try to remind yourself of or anything like that?
No, because I just try to treat others the way I'd want to be treated and just kind of.
So you remind yourself of that?
Genuine, light. It's not even a reminder. It's just an existence. Like, it's just there. Look, there's never a time that someone is actually talking to me and I'm not actively listening to them. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. You know, like sometimes, like you'll be talking to somebody and they'll just be like, "Hold on, wait, I didn't hear what you said. Like, repeat that again." It happens all the time. Like, I don't really. There are probably instances that I do that, but I don't think that's a frequent behavior of mine. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. That
would be unfortunate.
I mean, it just happens, but like I think I'm always like actively listening for the most part. Okay. I think something that I do that I could work on is sometimes like I'll have a thought like where someone's speaking and I want to like be like, yeah, let me pick you, and it's like they're not even done with their thought. They're like, girl, sit your ass down and wait. That's a huge problem for people. Sit and wait a minute. But yeah.
And then are you upset with yourself when you don't remember? So in that moment, do you kind of, because you kind of got to like let go, or you hold on, but then you're letting go to a lot of things that they're probably saying that you could allow to ruminate while as they're speaking. So do you try to hold on to that gem that you had to say, right, while they're continuing to talk? Or do you let it go and say, if it comes back, it comes back. Let me just listen to what you're saying.
That's exactly what I do.
Okay.
Because sometimes it'll
that's you like, walking in faith.
Sometimes it'll be like, dang, I done forgot what I was going to say. But like sometimes it's also like, oh, I didn't even have to say that anymore because you already covered that and like what you were saying. Like that's irrelevant. And now you brought up a new point that I have. You know what I mean? I think when you sit on like what you have to say, you don't even hear what somebody's saying because you're actively trying to remember what the hell you're trying to say.
Yeah, because that takes work.
Yeah, so most of the time, like, that go out the window. And then it'll get to me and I'll be like, you know, I had something to say, but it's gone now because I was listening to you, girl. I had it, but it's gone now. Which is good. And I'm like, if it was meant anything, it'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back.
It'll come back.
And most importantly, I was here and I heard what you had to say, which is most important because hopefully it meant something to you, which means something to me. Mm-hmm. Back on that. Yeah. Sylvia, is there anything at all that you would like to ask of me, say to me? The answer is it's completely fine for it to be no. It's been no before. You won't be the first person to say no. Mm-hmm. It's completely fine.
Since it has gotten cold outside, have you gone on any hikes?
I haven't. Ryan and I were supposed to go on one, and it got canceled.
She has been like such a lover of hikes. Like literally, we went on a hike, but it was more of like a trail.
Right. Yeah.
It was like 4 miles or something, but like it was still like just fun. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I almost didn't even go, and like I told them that because it was like,
how cold was it with that day?
It was.
What do you think?
It was probably like 33, 34 degrees. Yeah. Like it was.
And if there was any wind, then you was.
It was. I didn't realize there was that much wind until like we were done. Oh. And the night before, like I went to like an ugly sweater party, so I really didn't go to sleep until like 2 or 3, and had to wake up early.
Oh, didn't get 9 hours that night.
I sure did not. But Monday through
Friday, felt every bit of that. I'm certain of it.
Monday through Friday, I be getting at least 9 hours.
That's beautiful.
It is. I love
That's
it.
That's a beautiful blessing.
That's because I work from home, though. I have to acknowledge that. Like,
blessing.
If I didn't work from home and I actually had to go to the office, I would not be getting 9 hours.
Yeah.
Because currently, I'd be waking up like just a little before my first meeting. You know what I mean?
Yo. So what do you do in the morning when you're getting up? Like, how do you get yourself together? Or you just do it?
So I have multiple alarms, and obviously, like, I time out. Like, this is when my meeting starts. My first meeting is at 10:15. So usually my first alarm is at like 9:17.
Okay.
Next alarm is probably like 9:27.
Okay.
Usually I like to
Shall I see how close we cut it here?
Yeah, usually I like to pray before I get out of bed.
Okay.
And then I do a little stretching, turn on my Up First podcast
while
I'm like making my bed, like brushing my teeth and stuff like that. And then that leaves like usually enough time for me to like throw something on just to sit in the meeting.
Okay.
Sometimes that's not even enough time for me to like actively like do my hair in a presentable manner. So even though I'm on a Zoom call, but like sometimes it's just like I just do just enough to be presentable for that moment.
Yes.
And then after that call, I'm like, okay, now I can finish like really.
So as far as getting your mind together, you feel like, I mean, do you need to do anything in the morning to sort of like get your mind working, or is that maybe a part of the praying process?
I thought that I was doing a good job, but then last year for Ramadan, I like observed Ramadan. So like I would wake up like super early before the sunrise to like eat. And then I was just up. And then I like had all this time before work started.
Right.
And then I was like, what am I going to do? Like during this time, like let me try to be like more intentional, you know?
Okay.
So
I was about to say, were you bored?
No. So I started my day off like listening to like, you know, gospel, and I would read. Okay. And I would read this book that I love and enjoy. And then I start my day and I'd be like, wow, what a great way to start my day. Like I didn't feel like I was able to kind of like get into like a good mood, a good vibe, and then go into work.
Yeah.
Versus like just jumping out of bed, rushing, getting into this routine and then getting into work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Ramadan kind of came to a close. And that kind of I didn't necessarily maintain that.
Yeah.
But I want to make more of an effort to like have a routine. Like this is the thing, and this is something I want to work on is consistency. Because I also had a routine before, like after Ramadan, like where I would wake up and like have enough time to be like, let me just do a little yoga, like a 10-minute, 15-minute, like whatever it may be. Do that yoga, and then I would go on to work.
Have you practiced a lot yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, I've been doing yoga like since I was like in middle school.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So you have a very well practiced, I don't know, just groove of all the different poses and things like that. You know exactly, like you probably know your body very well. Yeah. So you know exactly what to do to stretch out every single part of your body. Oh, that's great.
So I feel like I definitely want to get back. I want to get back into that because I feel like I need to like kind of wake up and like have my mind set and have a vibe and a mood going where I'm balanced, and then I can get into something else.
Take on the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But then that also means that me being comfortable with like saying, I need to wake up now versus me sleeping longer. It's like, would you prefer to do this yoga flow and like get your mind right, read a little bit and then go. So it's like I'm sacrificing sleep to
sacrifices have to be made in some way, shape or form.
But it's about what stands out to me and matters the most.
Yes. Yeah. Whatever the vibe is, just like your favorite fruits.
100%.
Whatever the vibe is.
Yeah.
So when I was saying that my 24 hours is different than my prior 24 hours, right, that I had been living in life, I wake up at if I'm working, it's usually at 4, but now that, you know, on days off, it's 5:30
a.m.
Yes. Yes. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. Wow. Like on the dot of it, it's just my body. I wake up 5:30 in the morning.
Wow, naturally.
Yes.
Whoa, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
And I get up and I start off with like 15, 20-minute meditation, and then I move over to my yoga mat and then I stretch for like 20 minutes or so.
What time do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep like usually in bed around 9.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel extremely focused in my concentration's in a state it's never been before. Wow. I feel fantastic.
4 a.m. and 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when I'm up and I'm ready to start the day. So when I say the 24 hours is a little different now, it's like I'm like so much is happening, especially with my focus. Like I'm participating in such an intentional way with everything that I'm doing. I feel like there's such a wave of information and like wisdom and feeling that I'm having with the world in a way that I never have. And then I look up and it's like 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm like, oh, wow, like we're still in the morning. This is great.
Waking up early does that to you.
Oh, my God. Like, it changes everything.
One day in Cancun, we had to go.
You got to pause every time, like right before you say it, to just make sure. You tell me about Cancun.
We had to go get COVID tested. It's like we wanted to be at the testing center by like 8. So like we woke up like early. That was the earliest I woke up the whole trip. But I like woke up, like was listening to gospel music, like took my time getting ready, everything. And then by the time it was like 9:30, I'm like, damn, we still got a full day. I feel like I've been out here for a while. Then it got to like, then it got to like 2, and I'm like, we still at it. I'm like, we still active. It's a full day left. The day is still young.
It is amazing.
But by the time it was like 8 or 9, I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, right. Naturally exhausted, and I am ready to shut it down now. And that also feels great.
It does.
Because you know what that sleep's fitting to be like.
Right. Yeah. So maybe I should wake up early. If I wake up early, that goes hand in hand to me going to bed early too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'll be going to sleep at like 12 or 1.
Yeah, you don't want to start, burning the candle at both ends. You don't want to do that. You got to take care of your energy.
Yeah. Maybe next week I'll start. I'll try that.
Try it out. Let me know how it goes.
Next week.
Sil, as you already know, everyone that comes here is required.
Oh, it's a requirement now. I thought it was optional.
I might let it be an option because I am about comfort. Last words for the people. First of all, you're a prophet, and you be talking wild. you be talking straight scriptures. So you should have something.
I'm gonna get up here and be like A B C D 1 2 3. If you don't want no beef, don't start nothing with me. That was on the down too. Get me in the booth. Like, those are my last words. Wrap it up.
Ooh, I mean that kind of goes hand in hand with the prior conversation we were having about walking away from conversations and having patience. You're just like, yo, listen, man, if you don't want problems, just leave me alone.
Right.
Okay, cool. So that's it.
That's not really. No, that's not really it.
Well, I'll give you a second anyway. My last words for the people. Count your blessings. Interestingly enough, this is something I think I spoke about with Keon on here, but it's been long enough for me to bring it back up. Another phrase that we just we just say, but honestly, just like if you think about some of the things we say, like really think about it. If you were to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, and you were to think as hard as you possibly can about anything in your life that could be considered a blessing.
Oh, it's a long list.
It's a long list.
It's a damn.
Go ahead and just start count. Count for like you don't gotta go out. Just do 5 minutes.
Oh, I don't even got. I'd be saying that. I'd be saying thank you for that every day.
I just want people to take a couple minutes just to think. You don't even gotta write it down. Just think. Just think about it.
Yeah.
It's going to put a smile on your face. It's going to put a smile on your face. And a few more things I actually will say about words, because we've talked about the power of words a bit on here. I think I was just having a conversation with a loved one about usage of words, and that I say things to people, and because we've just been inhabiting a world of people that use words quite flippantly. If I use some of the same words, they think of it to be about on the same level, or about as meaningless as how some people use certain words. And it's quite interesting. I talked about precision of speech the last time on here, and I just want people to think about the words that they're using and try your best to have some real symbolism behind them. Think about the words and what the words mean. Look the words up if you don't know what they mean. It's a big deal to know what it is you're saying. Mm-hmm. I say things to people like, I appreciate that. I appreciate what you did greatly. Oh, thanks. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, hold on a second. I know you hear people say that a lot. Last Spanish lesson, I promise. Apreciar. This term, to appreciate, it means to to appraise something, to value something, right, to a certain degree. I'm telling you that I appreciate this thing greatly. I don't just mean, hey, thanks. What I mean is whatever it is you did or whatever it is I'm remarking on, I hold that to a high esteem. I value that quite dearly is what I'm saying to you. I told someone the other day, well, because they were talking about some shortcomings they had. I said, you have a good heart. They're like, oh, don't say that. Like, that just seems like, I'm like, no. When I say that to you, what I'm saying is everyone is not good with their words. I understand this. I know your heart. I know your being. I know your intentions. And if our relationship just had to be based on the words that came out of your mouth, good chance we wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
But I know because I have this gift of being able to sort of sense what people are trying to say beneath the words.
Right.
They don't really have the words. They don't have the intelligence. They don't have the whatever it is to get out all the things they mean. But I can look at people and sort of sense that they mean something a little bit deeper than what it is they're saying.
Right.
And so what I was saying to this person is you have a good heart. That's why you're in my life.
Right.
Because I understand the things that you're saying underneath the things that you're saying, and they're beautiful.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay. So when I say you have a good heart, that's what I mean. When I say I appreciate that, that's what I mean. So I just want people to think a little bit more about the way that they use words. And even if you don't, at least understand that when you're hearing from me or you're speaking from me, these words are coming out with intention.
Right.
Every single word that comes out is coming out deliberately. So it's not flippant at all. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it greatly. I love that you're here. I clearly had to bring you back. I've always, referencing back to the whole gossip column thing, I've always clearly seen you as like a light. It not just your skin being vibrant, but I've just always seen you as someone that's just been like intelligent and strong and clearly quite conscious of things. And so I've just always wanted to be sort of in your space and see like what's going on with you and how you're doing it. So I'm glad that I'm very lucky to feel like I've been able to get you here twice, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Thank you.
You have some last words for the people?
I was trying to actively listen to you.
That's awesome.
I shouldn't say it. That's not the end of the statement. I was trying. That was my only goal. Was to try.
But you were doing that thing again. You was talking a whole lot. A lot of words.
I was trying to actively listen to you while you use that as time to like think of something to say.
Right.
To wrap up with.
Yeah.
So I kind of have like two things that I'll say.
Hey.
Okay. The first thing I'll say is that it's about blessings as well and being grateful, but I feel like it's important to acknowledge and really everyone should take out the extra time to build solid relationships and connections with people. Even if you feel like you have friends, it's important to feel like there's somewhere that you can go to if you're not doing your best, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's the saying where it's like treat everybody with kindness because you don't know the type of internal battles that everybody has. And like we all have internal battles, you know what I mean? Like there's not one person out there that's not struggling. Everyone's struggle looks different, but everyone's struggle is valid, And it's just important to feel like you have a safe space. Sometimes your safe space could be a therapist. Your safe space could be a journal. But like just being able to have an outlet or having a person that you feel comfortable enough with to be like, hey, I haven't been doing my best and like, this is why, or just having someone that feels comfortable enough and welcome enough to like kind of just have open arms and just listen and be a listening ear, like not necessarily a dumping ground for all your emotions because like, that's not necessarily fair to another person as well. But like, just being able to kind of like have a circle or like someone where there's comfort to some degree, you know what I mean? I think it's really important and it's definitely worthwhile because you cannot make it through life by yourself. Like you need community, like you need support. You need people who are around there and genuinely care about you. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing, I done forgot what it was.
Yeah, that's okay, because you got in the zone with that first one.
I did.
Very nice.
I think the second one would be the same thing I kind of said the last time of like just being reflective and like, you know, taking out the time to take accountability, look inward on yourself and figure out different things that you may want to like, you know, change to make an impact on others. And ultimately, like, don't be afraid of like your emotions. Like, emotions are cool. Not like that, but like, you know, embrace emotions. Like, it's a part of life.
Embrace all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of you, all of your battles, what you're going through, your emotions. It's not a reflection of like you not like it's okay to like be emotional despite what society has like kind of fed is acceptable and unacceptable. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, thank you again for coming. This has been episode 98. Thank you all very much for listening. As always, peace. You don't have to clap. It's fine.